Hello everyone, KingslayerKoshy, and welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies. In the last part, we got a stump that's on fire. And in this part I'm going to figure out a way to put it to use. And now we're going to be dealing with dolphin zombies. Right after I look at the Zomboni. But basically, once you see the Zomboni, the bobsled zombie will also be put into your catalog of enemies you faced. And here's me messing around with the order, only for me to realize I screwed it up. Because what I like doing is having the sunflowers first to save myself a little bit of space. Or save myself a little bit of time. It's just a force of habit. But anyways, yeah, now we're dealing with dolphin zombies. These things are annoying to a lot of people because, well, they're basically like the pole vaulter zombies, but a lot faster. So you can stop them the same way, put something in their way and they'll jump over it. With the exception of Tangle Kelp, though. If they run into Tangle Kelp, they'll be dragged right under. Although their death animation, when they die, it's kind of when they get hit by the Tangle Kelp and go under, it's kind of funny because they're still charging for you as they drown. It's pretty funny. But anyways, we're doing the same strategy as before, planting sunflowers and putting Tangle Kelp at the front to defend myself, as well as squash any starter zombies and getting in my way. So, yeah. Okay, so I guess I never really did get a chance to finish off what I was talking about in the last part and why I brought up Bubsy. The reason why I brought up Bubsy was because of the fact that the release date is what actually made me want to bring it up. Because it's coming out on October 31st, 2017, on Halloween. It's like these assholes knew. The scariest thing known to man. It's not Freddy Fazbear and all of his stupid robotic buddies screaming into your goddamn ear. Here's making you want to just rip it. Making you want to do some supersonic. Hey, bullshit on them so you can get them to shut up. It's not Resident Evil with any zombies or Godzilla-sized spiders and insects. It's not Silent Hill with all the paranormal bullshit. Fatal Frame with all the ghosts. Or anything like that. It's a freaking crappy IP coming back from the dead. And this kind of brings up something that I guess I could rant about, which is the idea that there's two kinds of games that should never be brought back. When you're trying to revive a series or remake a game in some regard, don't ever bring back a game series. I don't ever feel like a game series doesn't deserve to be brought back if it was never good to begin with. And a series that's kind of been, and a game that's been pretty much perfected the first time. I mean, you can make pretty much the same. What's a good example of what? Well, Bubsy 3 is kind of the first example of a game that I believe that you port that as a series that's being revived and recreated that shouldn't be recreated. It's wasted time on an IP that I feel doesn't deserve the attention that other IPs do, such as Spyro or Gex, or hell, even Knights. Even though Knights did have a game on the Wii, but even then, the Wii game wasn't really received as well as... wasn't very received well by a lot of the fans, from what I can gather. But yeah, that's one type of game that should never be brought back. But the other kind of game is... that should never be brought back is the kind of game that's been perfected the first time. Like, to the T. So something like Chrono Trigger... what else is there? Secret of Mana... Super Metroid... games like those. Games that have been perfected the first time. Yeah, games that have been perfected pretty much the first time shouldn't be remade. Because then afterwards you bring in a whole slew of problems that kind of upset, kind of like that destroy pretty much the nostalgia that the original series had. I guess a good example of this would be the TMNT 4 remake, Turtles in Time remake, which was okay, but it paled in comparison to the original SNES version. And it's something that a lot of games do suffer from. And that's something that a lot of like beat 'em ups especially are very... I see a lot in beat 'em ups because they're so they're so plentiful, and they're pretty easy to pick at. It's not anything personal, it's just something that at least I'm able to see. That's kind of like a consequence of what can happen if you try to remake or revive an old series like that. You're running the risk of pretty much destroying what made the original good, and pretty much pissing off a lot of people that are nostalgic over the original. They look at everything, they get nitpicky, and eventually there are changes that developers and designers think in their head, hey, this is good, do, and then afterwards when the gameplay is released to the actual general public that grew up with said original game, they look at it and they look and say, what the hell happened to this? This isn't the game I grew up with, ruined forever! Kind of deal. Another example, I guess, of a game that kind of was ruined in some regard is also the Final Fantasy 5 and 6 ports. There's also 4 ports I don't remember, but basically the mobile versions of the game are a pretty bold example of what happens when you half-ass something that should really be given some proper care. I would know playing the Steam version of Final Fantasy V, which unfortunately is ported from the mobile version of the game. Why they didn't do the GBA version is beyond me, but I guess maybe it's because of a legal thing, because of Nintendo, I don't know, but that's beside the point. The reason I bring it up is because I played it, I finished Final Fantasy IV, I said that a couple parts ago, and comparing Final Fantasy IV for DS to Final Fantasy V on Steam, it's miles. You can tell the difference for miles, just the amount of effort that was put into it. It's kind of sad, and it just makes you wonder, was Square lazy? Was Square really this lazy? Don't answer that question, because Square's kind of been on the receiving end of a lot of crap, kind of like on receiving end of a lot of flack recently. A lot of game companies have recently been receiving a lot of flack. Well, at least the major ones, anyway. More so than usual, feels like. But yeah, I guess there's my 2 cents on that. I guess back to the game at hand. What I really something that I've neglected to mention was we got a new plant. A very useful plant at that. It's called the tall nut, and it's a very good plant. Basically, this thing will replace the walnut. The thing with the tall nut is, I recommend as soon as you get the chance to plant one because they take an eternity to set up. They take an eternity to be available. So as soon as you get one that's available, plant one down and then just wait it out, because the thing with the tall nuts is, what makes them useful is zombies like the pole vaulters and the dolphin zombies, when they try to jump over, they'll hit their face on the tall nut and they won't actually jump over, they'll be stuck in front of them, which is something that you should take advantage of. Of course, there's going to be zombies that did that, so watch this. Zombie tries to get past it, hits his face flat, head first, head on, directly to the tall nut, and dies. Very useful. So if you want to stall for time, tall nut's the way to do it. Especially works well with the spikeweed, as I've told you before, same strategy that you did for the walnut and spikeweed combo, you can do the same thing for the tall nut. Tall nuts just last a lot longer. Oh god. See, I got that off my chest, but god damn it. I feel like there was something else that was kind of bugging me. Oh yeah, there's also, oh yeah, fun fact. I was doing recording, thinking I was actually commentating, thinking I was doing the post commentary thing, I was actually recording, and I forgot to turn on the record narration. Go me. Although doing a second take of this, I guess, probably helps as well. Feels a little more natural. At least I think it does. You guys be the judge, because as I can only discern for myself whether or not it's good or bad. I can only do so much. But in the meantime, more zombies coming! As I burn everything to the ground with my torchwood repeater combo. Flaming peas, away! Then begs the question, how fast are those peas being shot at them? Probably not very fast. Now I think about it, I mean, they're using cones and buckets to protect themselves. I've also been looking at a lot of Steam games recently to think about games to buy. And I found some games from my childhood that I might consider buying. One in the version of Unreal Tournament 2004. I didn't really play the true game, I only ever played the demo of it. But I played that demo a lot. I guess one day when I get that game, I can probably take around in the game just to show you the good times I had with that game. I also played the original Dreamcast version of the game. back when I was a wee lad, or back when I was a kid. But yeah, the spikeweed, the torchwood, the repeaters, it's pretty much just overkill at this point. At least it looks like that. Just wait until you get to the yeah, it looks like overkill right now, and it looks like no way a zombie is gonna get past me. But just wait until we meet the frigging if I ever do feel like showing off the endless mode, you'll see just how difficult it is to actually survive. Hey, look, a note. I wonder what these jerks have to say. Galaxy, hello, we heard you were having a pool party. We think that is fun. We'll be right over. Sincerely, the zombies. Okay, first off, I didn't decide to have a pool party, and first off, I didn't invite you off my lawn. Thirdly, get off my lawn! And now we're back to survival. Plant survival. Or, I don't know. Improvise, damn it! But basically, the survival of what you got round. Yeah. But for the most part, this one's actually a little bit easier. If only because you have things like the three-peaters and the torchwoods to do massive damage, and the spikeweed, so you can cause some serious damage in a short amount of time. Yeah, the only what makes this challenging is because this lasts a while, so as long as you get a good start, you'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, because the amount of because like right now, you can just improvise. The amount of you got, like as you can see, the top two rows are pretty much they're pretty much as good as safe. I could put more repeaters up there if I wanted to, which unfortunately I am doing. God damn it, me! Stop doing that. You don't need to do that anymore. But yeah, but basically, do what I'm doing with the repeaters so that you can get the maximum coverage, and you'll pretty much be fine. And I guess if you can afford to do it, under normal circumstances, I usually don't like putting them in the middle rows. But if I can, if I can get away with it, I'll do it. Just keep shooting and eventually we will win. We're pretty much... this is the second wave and I pretty much set up the waves as I need to. The only thing I need now is a lily pad so I can cover up the one torchwood. But after that's taken care of, we're pretty much set. Because some rows are covered by 3 bullets, others by 2. It's just ridiculous. And there's me wasting a swatch. You'll see what I mean soon. Unfortunately, the squash isn't smart enough to realize when the zombie is dead. So, anyways, how are you guys doing in other words? Otherwise, because for me right now, there really isn't much to do say right now. I've finally uploaded a lot of the parts for the playthroughs that me and Super Lazy Dreamers have done. So we finally got that taken care of, or I finally got that taken care of. There's still 2 more playthroughs I have to upload, but I'm not gonna upload the parts until I get all the parts for them. I still have 1 more playthrough that I finished. That I'm missing the parts for, but sadly I'm not able to get the footage for it. But yeah, school starts on Monday, so I gotta try and pretty much finish out these parts as soon as I can, which shouldn't be hard, but it's just gonna be more tedious because it's just a lot of parts, and since I'm using Movie Maker, I just gotta figure out how to. Just a lot of waiting for parts to get ready to actually be able to record and actually saving them. And Crazy Dave was talking about the mechanic of this stage, which we'll see next time. See you then!